Hey guys, what's going on and welcome back to another video. My name is Courtney. I go by Courtney on Posh on all platforms, and today I have Lexi with me. Lexi, where can we find you?
I am Lexi on Posh on Instagram and on Poshmark, and then I'm also on Mercari, and I think it's just Lexi Spawn Seller.
Love it. So I'm going to link all those down below so that we can easily click on her and see her links. Lexi, how long have you been reselling for and how did you get into it?
So I've been reselling since 2017. I first started on Poshmark in 2015 just to sell my clothes, and I ended up at that time was when they came out with their boutique where you could buy like wholesale stuff, and I actually started out doing that. So for a couple of years I sold that kind of stuff, but I don't know, I just didn't feel like me, I guess. So I went to PoshFest in 2017, and there were a lot of resellers there, and I learned a lot from that conference, like so much. It was so insightful. I definitely recommend, if you haven't gone, you definitely should. But after that, I realized that that was what I really connected with and what I really felt passionate about. So I opened up a second closet, which you can do. You just have to contact Poshmark and let them know that you want to open up another account, and they will let you do that. And I started reselling from there.
I love it. So I want to actually talk to you a little bit about how you started with the boutique side of things, because I know that not a lot of people have had experience in that. What are some pros and cons if somebody's thinking about that?
When I first started, the wholesale portal was actually a bit cheaper than it is now. I haven't been in it recently, obviously, but it is more expensive than reselling prices, where reselling prices you're looking at like on average $3, $4, $5 or whatever. Your pieces for wholesale, you're looking at like anywhere from 10 to 15 depending on what it is. So it is definitely more of an investment.
Did you feel like it was hard to get the boutique items to move? Was there an oversaturation of the items on Poshmark?
Yes and no. It depended on what brands you were doing and kind of how you branded it yourself. There were certain brands that eventually, like Infinity Rain did end up, that was a very popular at the time, that I ended up stocking up on because I loved the pieces. They were just very high quality, very nice pieces, and very stylish at the time. But I did notice as I continued to sell it, more and more other people were selling it, and it became very hard to sell. And the selling price I had to lower to clear out inventory.
So that's such good insight because I have no experience with that. So it's kind of cool to
Yeah.
hear about. Let's switch to present day. When you are thrifting, are you thrifting at consignment stores, thrift stores, online?
Where I'm from, there aren't a lot of consignment stores. So you're basically looking at like Salvation Armies, Goodwills, that kind of thing. Recently, I have gotten into online sourcing a lot more, and I'm definitely learning with that just on like Poshmark. I've actually gotten into ThredUp, finding inventory on there, but I'm finding brands that I don't find around here. So that has been like very beneficial to my business.
Absolutely. I also want to talk about how you find things from the thrift stores and then you make them kind of your own, which I think is so cool. Talk to us about your shirts that you're doing.
Yeah, so I'm actually wearing one right now. Hold on, I'll back up a little bit so you can see it. But this one I actually found on Poshmark. I found a bundle of some really cool like older pieces of shirts, like graphic t-shirts. And I like to kind of like make them my own, because just because it has like a small hole in it, I don't think that that means that you have to throw it away. I recently have been bleaching a lot of t-shirts, distressing them, and kind of making them my own. And it's been working. And actually, the last few that I've sold have been Star Wars ones. So I'm like, yes, I'm a big Star Wars, I'm a big Disney fan. So
I love that. So for your last batch, about how long did it take to move? Is it in pretty high demand? Is it a very big trend right now, you feel?
I definitely do, especially if you're doing like a tie-dye bleach. That is huge right now. And they sell out very quick. My first batch that I did sold out within a week. Half of them sold in that first day. And then this new batch I just dropped a couple days ago, and I've already sold, I don't know, like a quarter of them. So they move really quick.
So cool. Do you feel like there's any bit of difference in sale price between if it's a bleached item and if it wasn't? Does it by any chance make the price go up at all?
I definitely do feel like it does. I see similar pieces um, on Poshmark if you like filter through, and they're going for like a third of the cost of what these like do-it-yourself pieces are.
I think that's so cool because there's so many times that I come across really awesome graphic tees, but they have like a stain or a hole or something in them. And so then I pass on them. But it's so cool to hear that people like you are going in and picking those up and giving them a whole new life. I think that's just so incredible.
Yes.
So outside of sourcing and making your beautiful t-shirts, if you could go back to your 2015 self, what piece of advice would you give yourself?
Don't compare yourself to others. 100%. When I first started, like I said, when I first started reselling, coming into it, I started following a lot of other resellers on my Instagram. And it was very hard to not compare myself to others and see people with all of these packages or all of these brands that are selling for them. And I'm like, why is it not working for me? Why is that brand not selling for me? It's all a learning process. It's something that works for somebody else isn't necessarily going to work for you, and that takes time to figure out what does work for you and what doesn't.
So with talking about those brands that you're seeing all over the internet, I want to know what brand, if you could have any brand, either for yourself or to resell, what brand would it be?
I'm going to be real basic here and go with Rothy's. Oh my gosh, if I saw a pair of Rothy's at my thrift store for like the $5 or $6 or whatever, I'd probably like be the girl that's like, oh my God, like in the store.
I passed on a pair of Rothy's.
What?
I didn't know what they were, and I was just at the time, I was in for a quick trip, and I didn't have time to look up comps. And literally, maybe 2 weeks later, Sarah, Trendset Chic, posted about them, and I was like, and I even know it even goes so far as I know who did source them because the person was in town visiting Los Angeles and had asked me what stores I go to. And she's like, you're never going to believe what I found at the store. And I'm like,
dang it.
So
no, I definitely say Rothy's or Gal Meets Glam. That isn't a brand that's anywhere around here. So if I saw that like out in the wild, like that would be awesome.
yeah. So 2015, that's like 5 years. And I'm sure in that time you've watched trends change a lot. What are some brands that used to move really well for you that no longer do?
I used to pick up a lot of J. Crew, and now you really have to pay attention. It does still move, but you have to pay attention to styles, look up comps, what's trending and what's not. And surprisingly enough, Madewell, I used to sell Madewell pretty quickly too, and for good prices, and lately it's just been sitting.
I agree with you. Are there specific styles that you would highlight that do still move for those two brands off the top of your head?
I feel like a lot of the styles that do move are very consistent with like bloggers, like what they're wearing and what's trending.
So you sell on multiple platforms. What is your favorite of each? You sell on Mercari and Poshmark, or are there more?
I also sell on ThreadUp, but that's new. I'm actually waiting for them to process my second bag I just sent in. So that's still a learning process for me right now.
Okay, wait, before we get into Mercari and Poshmark, because this is such a new thing for everybody, what was the experience with your first bag?
I have noticed that the pieces that I sent in were pieces that weren't moving for me on Mercari or on Poshmark. They were, like I sent in a lot of Eileen Fisher, Boston Proper, Michael Kors, that kind of stuff. And a lot of stuff I sent in did have tags on it. But there were pieces that had been sitting with not a lot of activity, not a lot of likes, and just brands that even when I do sell on those platforms, they don't sell they just sit for a long period of time before they do sell. So I was impressed with how quickly those sold on that platform. I think it's a different group of people that are purchasing on there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Cool. Well, I'm excited to hear. You're gonna have to keep us updated on Instagram on how that second batch turns out.
Yes, I am anxiously awaiting. Every single day I am checking that.
What is your favorite thing about Macari, selling on Macari?
I noticed different brands also work better on there than it does on Poshmark. A lot of like Nike and Adidas and that kind of more sporty wear sells a lot quicker. Lululemon, which Lululemon does good no matter what platform you sell it on, but for some reason it just seems to go quicker on Mercari than it does on Poshmark.
I agree with that. I always notice that with Ted Baker. Ted Baker seems to get more interaction on Macari than Poshmark.
Yes.
What about Poshmark? What's your favorite things about the Poshmark app?
I love the bundle feature. That's one thing that I wish Macari did have. Things that I always recommend is bundling likes for people, or if people have already made bundles. I send out an offer with discounted shipping, 10%, 20%, whatever. But then I comment on that. And I think that's a big thing that helps too, is if you comment, I'll usually say something like, hey, I noticed, thanks for checking out my closet. I sent you 20% off with discounted shipping. If that works for you, I can have that shipped out tomorrow, and then happy poshing. And I get a lot of sales that way.
I love that. I love that you say that you can get it shipped out tomorrow, because I think that, like, I don't know, as if,
oh, I can get that right away.
yeah, yeah, that's good incentive for someone to make that purchase. I can't talk about Poshmark without talking about the Poshmark community. How has the community aspect of Poshmark influenced your reselling journey?
So much. I honestly think the best part about Poshmark is its community itself. Like I said, that's really how I got started, was through PoshFest, through all of these people, all the information that they're willing to share with you. It's not a competition with anybody. Everybody's willing to help everybody else. I don't know how many times I've sent out like questions to people through Instagram, or I've received questions. It's just a very happy, very welcoming atmosphere.
Who are 3 people in your community that you would want to highlight that have helped you or inspire you?
Haley from Haley's Hanger. Her style is very similar to mine. I shop with her a lot. And she's just a ball of sunshine, like everything, her feed, and she's just a very positive person. Shauna, Cal Thriftstagram. I think that's how you say it. I call her the shoe queen. She always has like the best shoes to buy. But she also is somebody that I talk to, and she shares all kinds of helpful tips and stuff. So lastly, Tiffany, she's very sweet. Her aesthetic of her closet is very nice, and she's also one of those people that I've kind of gone back and forth with, like, questions. She's had questions, I have questions. She's just really easy to talk to, and she also has like great tips and stuff. So
She is so good with swimwear brands too. She's she's an asset to have in your community for sure. I'm gonna link all 3 of them down below, friends, so that we can go ahead and click on them quite easily, and you guys can support them as well. Thank you guys so much for watching today's interview with Lexi. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if you learned something new today, and go ahead and leave comments below if you have any questions. Lexi, if they have any questions specifically for you, what's the best way to reach out to you? Instagram?
yes, definitely Instagram.
Perfect. Thank you.
At Lexi on Posh.
At Lexi on Posh. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Lexi, thank you so much for being here, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. See ya.